Welcome to Arsenal above all. Well, 37 hurdles cleared, just the one more to go on Sunday against Everton with the title on the line. Familiar ring to it. Let's hope it ends the right way. I've got Lauren and Daniel James to talk about the 10th win yesterday over the terrible Man United side. We're one of the worst Man United sides we've seen in years, but we still made hard work of it. And we'll go in about the standout performers who we all know, a certain Frenchman with his smoking jacket on, who collected another Man of the Match award. William Saliba, what a talent! We'll talk about that and a lot more. But before that, let's go. Welcome to the show. As I've just about to start, Liverpool scored again, so it's 3-1. And someone's writing a really good script up there. I don't know who it is, but we'll we'll talk about that a little bit more. But welcome to the show, Lauren. The lucky charm still works. She's yet to come onto a show. We need to, because Lauren's so in demand. We need to book her in advance, and obviously we don't know what the result's going to be when she comes on. And so far, I think it's been all wins. I think this is her sixth show, and
only
she's been talking about it. So again, as we mentioned with Neil in the last show, you have to be on pretty much every game that season when we go unbeaten. Lauren, thanks for coming on. How are you feeling?
I'm doing good, thank you. Better after yesterday. Glad we got that one behind us. And yeah, I can't believe it's almost over, but it's been a good run so far anyway. Let's see how it ends.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, it's been it's mad. It's flown by this season. I think last season kind of seemed like it dragged on a little bit more, but this one, it's just flown by. And we've got Daniel James with us, quadruple season ticket holder. He's going to be there on Sunday. Lucky man to hopefully witness a bit of history. Daniel, how you doing, man?
All good, mate. Thank you. Thanks for having me on as usual.
Great to have you on. Great to have you both on in this special season. Regardless what happens, an historic season. Arsenal. We'll start off the bat. Congratulations to Mikel Arteta and everything that he's done with his team, with 27 wins in the Premier League, which is a record that even the Invincibles couldn't get. They got 26, obviously, as we know, but a magnificent achievement. And there's a game to go, which is kind of unreal. 20, it could be potentially 28 games, and madly enough, that could still might not mean us winning the league. It just shows you kind of what we're up against. But congratulations to this team, and again the work that Arteta has done. Record amount of goals scored in the Premier League season as well. Again, with a game to go, breaking the record from last season. We'll get into the first into the game yesterday, Lauren. Again, it was another away game which sort of frayed nerves a bit, especially after the performance against Tottenham in the second half. But what was your thoughts on the setup? Because obviously we know United got battered against Palace on the Monday night, and everyone, and even a lot of United fans, a lot of United content creators were saying they're going to get absolutely annihilated. It could be Liverpool type, it could be us getting revenge for the 8-2. All that stuff would have been lovely, but it seemed like United definitely changed their setup. Ten Hag suddenly, obviously he was kind of hamstrung a little bit with the number of players that he could choose because a lot of them were injured. But it seemed like they changed their tactics a little bit. They made sure they were a little bit more defensive minded and sat in a little bit. What did you think of that? Was that the reason we weren't as fluid as we normally are away from home? Villa have just scored, so it's 3-2. Wow, what a game! Do you think it was a combination of United's setup, or was it our nerves that played into it to realising what we kind of had to hold, or did you think it was a combination of both in just how that game was so kind of fractured and we kind of 1 minute we looked okay, the next minute we were sort of hanging on? What was your thoughts on that performance yesterday?
Yeah, I thought it was a weird one for sure. I think we started really, really strong. And I think I heard someone in the commentary, or was it the post-match analysis, saying it looked like Arsenal just went out for a 1-0 win and we're happy to defend, knowing that, United, they've had so many injuries. They obviously had no Bruno, they had no Rashford. I don't know whether it was just, okay, get a goal and, take it easy for the next whatever it was, 70 minutes in the game, because we need all our energy for next week. I really don't know what it was, because on paper, I mean, arguably our strongest starting 11 and the team that you would expect to put more in against United, given the state that they're in at the moment. I wasn't convinced at all by United in any way. I think obviously they're very, very stuck with players with injuries, that kind of thing. But Casemiro at centre back just isn't working for them at all. Like it's not, and obviously he was played in an onside position when we got our goal as well. And I think I think we got lucky, but at no point did I really feel, okay, they're gonna capitalize on any of the chances that they have here. I mean, I do think Garnacho is a good player. He's very raw. He's still kind of missing that clinical edge that I think United could have benefited from yesterday. I'm glad they didn't, of course. But I just think we looked, even at times when we didn't look in control, it didn't look too uncomfortable for the players. And I wasn't too nervous about it. I don't know. That's how I felt, really. I was like, okay, we weren't in any way, shape or form at our best. It looked as if we really just went and said, okay, look, we just need a goal, maybe two, but we're not going to push ourselves. And we're just going to absorb what they present. And I think we did it okay. I mean, obviously we're going to talk about Saliba later. I thought he was exceptional. But it was a weird game, because I think United played well considering the position that they're in with injuries and obviously lack of personnel. And I think we played particularly bad, but somehow we're still mostly in control of it, and we're able to nullify the opportunities that they did have and not really give them many, because I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but I don't think they had many shots on target, if Annie maybe count them on one hand. But there was definitely periods where I thought, okay, this is getting a bit nervy. But again, I don't think it was really in any position on the pitch where I thought, okay, this is getting uncomfortable for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only issue I think we kind of had was when United put some crosses in late on, and thankfully Raya had a safe pair of hands, a little bit like he did the end of the North London derby, and did that again. There was an opportunity in the first half which is weird because we started so well the first half. Literally, they couldn't get out. We couldn't get United out at all. And then Partey slipped, and Højlund went in and had a shot, but he slipped. And I think the reason he slipped was because I think United did the same thing that Liverpool and City have done, which was they kind of seemed like they saturated that half of the pitch. A lot of our players were slipping over. Partey was slipping over a lot. I think David Raya slipped over when he done a goal kick. So again, there was that, and it obviously backfired on them because Højlund probably gets that shot on target if he doesn't slip. But yeah, I agree. I think it was definitely Ten Hag has had us on our brain, had Arsenal rent free ever since we beat them in September, haven't they, Daniel? And he obviously, he's got a cup final obviously coming up in 2 weeks' time, but he obviously took this as another cup final because for him to change his ways, and United have been so open, and teams like Burnley have gone down there and played them off the park, in terms of possession and what have you. Luton have scored against, so they've been so open and let so many goals in. But yesterday, it seemed like he was just, went against his principles and just wanted to make sure that they contained us a little bit and made sure that we weren't going to open them up. And some people say that we played in a way to stop the game being a basketball game, because that's where United are dangerous on the transitions, and that's where they scored against us. How many times have they scored against us on the transition? By someone nicking the ball. You've seen Rashford do that to us a couple of times. Last season when we lost to them 3-1, the same thing happened. We were in control, we equalised, and then we got done on 2 goals on the break. What was your thoughts on just how we kind of approached that game? Obviously, City doing what they did the day before. Do you think that had the part to play in it? In just the fact that once we went ahead, it was kind of like a lot of the players. Arteta mentioned it in his press conference. He said, he was disappointed in the way that some of the players were playing, and some of the passes that we were doing, and we weren't doing the stuff which sticks to our principles. So do you just think that's what it was? It was down to nerves, and these guys wanted to make sure we get to Sunday, with the title still, in the balance, rather than us, blowing it up and giving City the initiative?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I definitely think there was a lot of nerves from the crew. A couple of players made me quite nervous at different points. Partey was one of them. It's weird because he seems to have he's slotted in. It gives us a certain amount of solidarity, but at the same time, there's going to be 1 or 2 gashes somewhere in there, whether it's a slip or it's a misplaced pass. He had one misplaced pass that led to a chance for them, didn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that the nerves and knowing that City are absolutely blowing teams out of the water at this point of the season. They've absolutely hammered our goal difference all the way down to what is it now? 3. Yeah, from what it was before. And they just look like a menacing machine. So I think that is playing on their minds, the lads. Having City, it's almost like you're better off chasing City rather than City chasing you down. And I think Old Trafford's always been a bit of a bogey ground for us, hasn't it? All the times we've been ripped off down there over the years, dodgy decisions. So I think it's just a mouldy, horrible old place that's falling. Mold Trafford, they're calling it now, isn't it? Mold Trafford.
Yeah, we definitely need to get the builders in.
Getting the builders in, man. But yeah, so I think we played into their hands. Really, I wasn't happy with how we played. I thought that we didn't play our game. We didn't stick to our game. We made them look good. Ben White made Garnacho look like prime Cristiano Ronaldo. He was getting skin left, right, and centre. We haven't seen that Ben White for a while, but
I think that was partly to do with Saka. I don't think Saka was fit. I was watching him and he was walking around a lot. He weren't even jogging. He was walking. There was one instance in the second half, was it? Or was it the first half? First half, where I think him and Havertz collided and they fell on top of each other. And Saka just took ages to get up. And United broke on that side. And it was just Ben White against Garnacho and I think Dalot. And I was like, and then you see Saka sprinting in when it was too late. And I was thinking, you can't be doing stuff like that. But again, it's Arteta being really reliant on this guy. And yeah, I just thought that, he was obviously touch and go. He was a doubt, they said in the press conference, and so was Tomiyasu. I think both of them showed little elements of being a bit off of it. I don't think Tomiyasu trained. And but no, I think as he got better as the game wore on. But yeah, talking about individual performance, Lauren. Obviously, we've got to talk about Trossard. Trossard again, as the song goes. Scored again. What an amazing bit of business it is. You keep thinking about 27 million, and he's come up with some massive moments for us this season, which we'll show in a bit. But what was your thoughts on his performance? And also we'll touch on Saliba as well. But it's been vital that he's come in and done what he's done when the likes of Martinelli looks like he's been looked like he's been space jammed. Martinelli, he's like something's happened to him. But what's your thoughts on Trossard and just how vital he's been in this running?
Yeah, no, I mean, exactly. Yeah, the second half of the season, I feel like he's really made that position his own. Before we were always kind of between him and Martinelli, and I think obviously Martinelli had injury last season, and I just don't think he's really come back with the same form that he had last season at all. He looks so off the pace, even when he does get on. One thing that really bothers me with him is he just never lifts his head up, and I don't know whether that's lack of confidence or what it is, but he just looks so off the pace. And I hope he does end up having a good summer and he's able to get back into shape and be as fit as he can be, because I think having both of them fit and best at the best form that they can be in is a great problem to have. But yeah, how lucky are we that we have Trossard, and I'm thankful every day that we didn't spend, what was it, 80 million on Mudryk, that was rumored, and everyone losing their head over it, and look what we got instead. I mean, it's insane. And yeah, like you said, I think he's really, particularly the second half of the season, I think he looks like $1 million player. You know what I mean? Like it looks like it's natural to him. It looks like he's come from a big club that's been competing for the league for years, not Brighton, that kind of way.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just makes it look so easy. He's probably one of the coolest heads on the pitch. He doesn't really seem to let the occasion get to him, which is obviously very, very important at this stage. And another name I have to mention as well is Havertz. I thought he was brilliant as well. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal. And talking about players coming into their own in the second half of the season, I think if we were given player of the season on the second half alone, he would definitely be in contention, because talking about players coming in with winning mentalities, the two players, obviously we had Trossard last year, but Martinelli was in such great form, he wasn't really getting played as much as we probably would have liked to have seen him. And I think obviously having the extra year with the team, the squad, to develop those like on the pitch relationships with the other players, it's really coming to light now how beneficial it is having him. And yeah, I think mentioning on Saka as well, if only we had that issue on the right wing where we had two really great players, if one gets injured or one looks a bit tired, we can rotate a bit more, because I think it is getting a bit predictable now with Saka, not through any fault of his own, but he's obviously exhausted playing game in, game out, and he is obviously our focal point. I would say probably one of our best players, and that's not being biased. I think he genuinely is, in terms of ceiling that he has. He's so young. Imagine how good he's going to be in 4 or 5 years' time, provided he isn't overplayed and picks up a load of injuries like what happened with Jack Wilshere. But I think that's definitely a point that we need to look at in the summer. I know that's not what you asked me, but I'm just getting ahead of myself.
No. That's always the question with him, isn't it? That's always until we address it, it's always going to come up.
Always. But yeah, to answer your question, Trossard, what a finish that was as well. I mean, him and Havertz, that link-up play, it's incredible. I think Trossard probably is one of the best finishers we have, and to see him cutting in, it's just great. And I think he offers so much. And yeah, we're very, very lucky we have him. Like I said, when our first choice at the start of the season isn't there through injury or lack of form.
Yeah, that's definitely a signing we can definitely praise Edu and Arteta for, to identify that one as the one that we wanted after the whole Mudryk situation. And Dan, just looking at his numbers here as well, just seeing what he's done, where he's coming. Obviously, we remember the equaliser, fortunate equaliser against City, and the winner against Everton, which kind of broke that record for Arteta. He was a bit like the Tottenham record that they've got with City. He didn't get a result there until that moment. I don't think we scored under Arteta as well. I think we did. Odegaard did. Obviously, the equaliser against Chelsea, the one against Liverpool, which kind of sealed it. The equaliser against Porto, the equaliser against Bayern, the winner against Wolves, and the winner against United. I mean, he's just there. It's just there not in black and white, but in colour. That this guy is just he is such a big game player, and I've got money. If I had a bit of shrapnel, which I'll probably use on Sunday for anytime goal scorer, I'll put it on him on Sunday, or getting the breakthrough goal or something, or getting the winning goal. What's your thoughts on Trossard, and obviously the man of the match performance from Saliba, which I mean, ridiculous performance. But what's your take on that, and just how important it is? Trossard has been, and how important Saliba has been, ever present. I think he's played every game, bar the game in the last game in the Champions League. I think it was. He didn't play. But what's your thoughts, Dan, on those two?
Yeah, I mean, I agree on Trossard. I think he's probably the best finisher at the club. Got a calm head on his shoulders. I like his all-round application, really. He's dangerous in the transitions. He's probably lost a little bit of pace from his Brighton days. I remember him being quite rapid at Brighton, but he's approaching 30 soon. The only regret I have with him is that really his age. If only he was, you know, if only we'd signed him 2 or 3 years sooner, you know, then we'd have some really good a really good clear amount of time to have some more moments with him, you know. But as it is, he's 29, he's going to be 30 soon, so he's kind of approaching, I guess, the age whereby forwards can start to decline. I mean, the natural finishing will still always be there, but what I'm quite interested in is the fact that I think Trossard has shown Martinelli on the left that if you're not playing well enough, you're going to be out, and that's what we need on the right hand side. Saka needs that competition from a seriously good player like Trossard to tell Arteta, look, all right, if you're not playing well enough, sorry, mate, you're out, and the next man's in. Right now, Saka gets away with it. He's got good numbers in that this season, but unfortunately for him, I think he's getting battered a lot. Whether he likes it or not, he's going to be a target. He has to find a way around it. You know, Ronaldo, Rooney, Eden Hazard, all of those kind of silky, tricky players are always targeted like that, and he's gonna have to deal with it, find a way to deal with it. So, so back to what I was saying. Yeah, Trossard's been a revelation. It's taken him a while to really get rhythm, but I guess when you're not playing week in, week out, it can take you some time really to get that rhythm. And he's really got it now. And to be honest with you, on the Martinelli thing, I don't know what's happened to him. Lauren, I agree with you. I don't know what's happened to him. This year he's just been awful. I don't know if it's confidence or he's got a personal thing going on. I know he's been flashing about with his model girlfriend. I don't know what he's got going on, but he's absolutely been pants this season. And it's something that we've always said. He kind of keeps his head down and he just runs. It's like he looks up at the last minute, if that. I don't know if he needs. I don't know, man. I was saying to someone the other day, he needs to watch tapes of someone like Alexis Sanchez or something like that, to get an idea of when to look up, when to link up, and when to finish, when to pass. But yeah, on to Saliba. Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. I've got not a bad word to say about him. He's still young. He might make a mistake every now and then, but I think what I like about what I've seen at the stadium is, if anybody makes a mistake, we don't get on their back. We're just like, we clap him. We're like, you know what? Come on, let's go. Let's get on with it. And I like that. He will make mistakes. He's still quite young. He might have raw moments, but he's on the way to being a world-class defender. You know, I expect the next round of negotiations that we're going to have to do with him are going to be quite significant. And I guess we're going to be having to be making serious strides with winning something, because if we're not, you know, players like Saliba are going to start thinking, I'm playing out my heart and soul. You know, by that time, it could be 20. How long has he got left in his current contract? Do we know?
I think he's signed one until 27 this year, wasn't it? Was it extended to 2027?
Possibly. But if he has, then, you know, next year, 25, we need to be looking again, don't we? Otherwise, we'd have to possibly let him. Well, not that we would, but yeah, I just want for potential like Saliba, I really want us to start going to the next level and really winning stuff to keep players like him around, because, you know, the likes of Real Madrid and the others will come sniffing at some point.
Yeah, his contract expires June the 30th, 2027. So yeah, Lauren's right. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the worry. If we don't land something soon, he's going to be looking at his mate Mbappe and the other French boys that are over there, all young and enjoying themselves. And you know, the Galacticos, you know, you just, it's going to be too scary. You know, him there at one end and then Mbappe at the other. It's like, you know, what's the point? You might as well just avoid the game, give him a 3-0 win and get out of there. You know what I mean? You just be crazy. You know, that's if you end up getting them in this new format of the Champions League next season. But yeah, an outstanding performance there. Yeah, that was his third man of the match performance. Obviously, you got one at Anfield. You got one at Anfield, one at the Etihad, and yesterday. And for all those people that said, "Oh, you know, your title defense crumbled last season because of one player," well, there you go. You know, then we were getting laughed at, saying, "Oh, how can you depend on a player like that?" And yeah, it's funny because he seems to really revel in games like that, whereas Gabriel has probably been the better performer since the turn of the year, and then obviously Saliba just comes out and puts in a performance like that. Outstanding, absolutely outstanding, and hope. Fingers crossed, we can get something over the line in the next couple of years, and just get him to sit down with a bit of pen and paper, and just add a few more years on that contract. But yeah, just to say some of the figures. That was our 11th away clean sheet in the Premier League, and only Chelsea had more, which was 12 in 2008-2009. We're unbeaten against the Big Six as well, which is it's not to be sniffed at. How many years have we gone to those places that you can see on there, and especially Liverpool and City have gone away, and we've been absolutely blown away and then embarrassed at home as well. But we've not lost to any of those this season, and that's why I wanted to ask you, Lauren. Obviously, we know things are still up in the air. Anything can happen on Sunday, hopefully in our favour. But people are saying, "Oh, maybe we should have went for it against City at the Etihad." That's turning out to be a bad result. And I asked my Liverpool mate who's in a WhatsApp group with me, a really good guy, and I said to him, how many times did Liverpool beat Man City away from home when you were having the back and forth for the title battles? So we never beat them away at the Etihad. We only beat them in the League Cup away once, but in the league we've never beaten them. So I'm thinking, that's funny, because no one said that when that was going on. Again, it's just like Arsenal bashing again narrative. But what's your thoughts on just that performance against that against the Big Six, and just those comments? What do you think about those? People envisioning saying, because it goes without saying, if we do lose the league, we've lost the league because of our home form, because of those results against Fulham and Tottenham.
Yeah.
For me, and that's not even taking into account the Villa result. I think those games there, that's 4 points we've dropped, massive. But what's your thoughts on that, Laura?
Yeah, I mean, what I see when I look at this is when we think back to last year when we were in that race against City, everyone said we lost it because we lost 6 points against City. And, I can't remember how many, I think they won by 5 points last season, whatever it was. And you look at this here and you're saying, well, look at the growth that's occurred from last season to this season. We can go toe to toe with the historical Big Six. I mean, wins against most of them, a few draws, some difficult games as well, Liverpool away. I mean, even United away at the weekend, it wasn't comfortable, but it's a fixture with so much history, as you both mentioned as well. Like it's such a heavy place to go to, and that does weigh on the club, on the players as well. So I think to come away undefeated against the Big Six this Premier League is absolutely incredible, considering where we were last year. And look, if it does come down to our home form, based on how we've dealt with our shortcomings last season under Arteta, I think there are small things that we can definitely work on next year under him, with players who are fit. We're obviously going to have Timber back as well, who we didn't have all season. We're going to have players who've been through this again. If we don't go on to win the league, obviously it's still in City's hands and that kind of thing. It just shows that the points that were brought up against us last season, and that we can't get points against the Man City, or we're dropping points at I think our first defeat of the season last year was at Old Trafford as well, for example. Like, we're able to go to those stadiums now and come away with something, and we're able to get points against them at home, which we didn't do last season. So I think it is a fair point, obviously, to start looking back at those games against Fulham, against Spurs, where we had off days, we had bad days, but City haven't gone undefeated either. Yeah, that's, they haven't got a full season where they haven't gone undefeated. Dropping points is going to happen in this league. It's so competitive. You never know where it's going to happen either. So I think you can nitpick as well. But for me, I wouldn't be looking too much at the games against the Big Six. Like I said, we've improved so much in the space of a year on that already. Yeah. How much better can it get, realistically, particularly going up against Man City? I don't think we've ever won at the Emirates, at the Etihad under Arteta. So to get a point there, I mean, I was celebrating it like it was a win. To be completely honest, it was enough for me. And obviously, hindsight, you can look back and poke at different results. But yeah, I wouldn't be too critical of those ones there, to be for sure. Maybe the Chelsea game, the 2-2 draw there, that was a bit of a sticky one. But you know, like I said,
that one, the Newcastle one. Obviously, we know how controversial that was. We didn't play well that game. Yeah, we didn't play well against Chelsea until the last 20 minutes when Rice did that goal, and obviously Trossard popped up and did what he did. And then the Fulham game as well. Again, we went 1-0 up in that, didn't we? And we just didn't play. But yeah, I think it's the home games that's cost us. You would have been there, seen that as well, wouldn't you, Dan being there? And I think you said at the time, I think you did 1 or 2 vlogs about that, saying, you know, at the time saying that's, you know, taking leads and then, you know, bad defensive mistakes which cost us. And that was early on when we were trying this new system with I think when Party was coming in, inverting and stuff like that. But let's go on to Sunday. Let's go get all the hopium we can take. Obviously, you've seen some of the stats that have been going around with Freddie Ljungberg and Trossard's numbers being almost identical. I think 17 appearances and 12 goals for both of them. The last 2 games have been against United and Everton, and also that for the three teams that got to the European finals have also been the same ones this year, and the Champions League final is against the Spanish and German side. So there's a lot of good omens there, and I know we're probably reaching, but we've also got Mikel with an impassioned Mikel. Let me just get it for you guys. You know, he's still fighting for this title. He's got to go to Tottenham and get something. I'll tell you honestly, we'll fucking love it if we beat them. So he's channeled his inner Kevin Keegan there. You still probably too young to know what the hell I was just mentioned there. It's gone right over your heads. But yeah, it's gonna be a pretty, this is what we've been waiting for, isn't it, Daniel? Since we've worked at Arsenal, obviously since we've moved from Highbury and not got close to anything like this, to our last final day of the season, to be in a chance of winning the league. It's going to be weird. There's going to be, I said to Kirsty when she goes to the ground, there's going to be, where we used to go through the tunnel bit, where they used to have the Premier League stand bit where they walk through. There's probably going to be a stage or something there for the presentation of the trophy, and there's probably going to be a replica trophy there. Obviously, the City will have the proper one, but Arsenal will have to be one there, which is crazy, right? I don't know what they're going to do I imagine they're going to have it pitch side to just get everyone a bit more on edge. But looking ahead to that, Daniel, are you going to be able to sleep Saturday night? Are you?
No, I won't be able to sleep. I mean, the realistic side of me is saying that City are going to blow Spurs away tomorrow, and they're going to absolutely hammer West Ham on Sunday. As it stands, that goal was ruled out, Mike.
Yeah, I just see. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention it. Yeah. It was,
as it stands, it's
looking good. It's looking good.
Yeah.
3-1 up, and there's 10 minutes left. So
I mean, Ange has said that he wants to play, keep on playing. If there's a chance of that Champions League spot, then why would they turn it up? I've heard a lot of Tottenham fans saying, "Oh, I'd rather Europa League and Arsenal don't win the league over getting in the Champions League." Which, all right, fair enough. That's if that's the level the rivalry takes us to, then so be it. But you were talking before about looking at the games whereby we've perhaps kind of could have done better to those points back. For me, it was the Villa at home. That was the one for me. I was at that game and we were terrible. For me, had we got the result there as we were expecting to, then it would be in our hands now. So for me, it was the Villa at home game. It wasn't even just the result. The performance was diabolical as well.
Yeah.
So but here we are. We've pushed a very dominant Man City all the way to the last day of the season. We've got a better goal difference than them. We've scored more goals and then we've conceded less goals than them. Record number of wins. We've done so well, and many fans are saying, "Oh, we can't wait till Pep's gone." But my thing is, why do we need to wait till Pep's gone to beat them to it? We can beat them to it this season potentially, or next season. If he chooses to extend beyond next season, I think he's in his last year, isn't he? After this season, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Then so be it. We'll go toe to toe with him again. But it's a fantastic achievement by the lads. And whatever happens on Sunday, I think it's been a fantastic season, and I just think that we need to just get a more reliable squad. Saka definitely, we've been saying this for a few years. Saka needs that competition on his side. We need to look at the numbers, look at the players that need to perhaps be moved on because they're just not contributing enough. Players like Reece Nelson, Cedric is obviously moving on. We've got to make a decision on Lokonga. Eddie,
ESR,
even ESR. Yeah, I mean, I'd love him to stay, but him and Martinelli, if they're staying next season, really got to fix up and really, keep injury free, train through the summer, and really give it their all for next season. There's got to be that kind of fight to get in that first 11 rather than just taking it easy. Fantastic achievement all round. But I think my only regret is that we've relied on quite a small clutch of players. Even Zini, we've not been able to really rely on Zini. He's quite an unreliable player. Looking forward to Tim. I had a conversation with someone the other day. They were saying, yeah, man, because next season, Timber can play. Timber can come in at left back. And I'm like, how do you know Timber is not going to take out Ben White, actually? And we're actually going to sign a left back? We don't know. Something we can debate. But yeah, a lot of if buts and maybes, but a lot to look forward to for the future.
Yeah, it's going to be it's the depth, isn't it? It's the squad depth, and I think I read somewhere that City's back four or their main defenders have played like 28 games this season, whereas you've got, as you mentioned, Saliba's played every game pretty much. Gabriel as well. He missed the first couple of games at the start of the season. Ben White the same. So there isn't the quality in depth there, and if you're not coming on and being used, then kind of what are you doing there? The likes of VSR, the likes of Reece Nelson, Eddie, they're not being put on because Arteta doesn't trust them enough to keep the level up where it needs to be. Where he's brought the level up there with these players and the players' performances. So this summer is going to be really interesting to see what type of players he gets in and bring that level up, especially with this new Champions League where there's extra games as well. But what's your thoughts on Sunday, Lauren? We started off with Villa have just scored, so there's 6 minutes left. It's 3-2, and it is a goal. It has been given. It's no offsides. I think every goal so far they've taken about 5 minutes to decide whether it's onside or not. But this one's gone.
So it'll probably be 20 minutes of at a time now or something.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
to suffer through.
So, do you think there's a chance? Daniel's saying, Tottenham fans would rather be in the Europa League than the Champions League if it means that we don't win the league. Some have said they'll rather be relegated than Arsenal win the league, which is insane. But it is what it is. But what's your thoughts? Do you think? There's any chance on Sunday? How do you think it's gonna play out? And obviously, we know how you like it to be played out.
Yeah.
But what do you think's gonna happen?
Look, you know what? I think this is, as far as I can remember, this is my first time going right up into the last day as an Arsenal fan. Really with that chance there in front of us. So I don't really know how to feel. I think, like Daniel said, you have to be realistic, and all the signs point to City doing what they do all the time, just walking away with it in the last few games. But, you have to have that hope. And like I said this before, even if we don't come away with the win this season, we don't come away with anything, I still think that we've shown so much growth from last year that I would still take it as a positive rather than saying, oh, it's another season that we failed, because I think
Yeah.
we've become good this season when it's mattered. We've really put the performances in. Of course, we had a slightly slower start than we did the season before, but I think, yeah, to replicate that would have been pretty impressive, given the number of new players we had, players leaving. Obviously, Xhaka was such a key figure for us last year as well, and then trying to replace him, and you know, Partey being injured as well. I think that's something as well that we've kind of overlooked in a way, because I think if we had have been talking about this last season and we had have said, yeah, Partey's missed 75% of games through injury, we probably would have said, oh, we're going to finish 5th or 6th. And to still be in the title race, having missed such a key player, thanks to exceptional recruitment over the summer, obviously, in Declan Rice. And not everything that Arteta's brought in has worked, or probably what I should say is hasn't worked instantly. You know, obviously we had Havertz playing in that midfield left role, which was more than likely a way just for him to get more comfortable on the ball in order for him to pivot to the kind of false nine that he's playing now. And I think, look, there's been a lot of testing this season. There's been a lot of changing, but I think in the long term, it's all going to stand to us. And yeah, like I said, we've shown that we've learned from our mistakes of last year. I think one of the things that has let us down, which you both rightly said, is probably lack of squad depth in key areas. So on the right wing, you know, I think maybe left back as well was a position when Zinchenko came back. You know, he wasn't looking the best, but we had options there. And obviously, I think Kivior did exceptionally well when he came in for the most part as well, and a bit of an unsung hero, in my opinion, to be thrown in at that level, having played so few games, and to be able to stand up and take the position and be a part of the team when we were going on those 5-6-0 runs was insane. But yeah, come Sunday, I don't know how I feel. I'm trying to be realistic, but of course there is a bit of hope there, and that's all we have, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I hope so. Like you said, it's just, I think at the start of the season, it's 3-3 now, isn't it? 3-3. There's 2 minutes of normal time to play, and there's probably going to be about 7 minutes of, oh my god! If you see the goal, it's absolutely unbelievable.
Stop.
Like, Diaby passes it in, he plays a cross, and it just deflects off that Duran. He's just running, and it hits him on the knee, on the thigh, and it loops over Alisson. Like, it's the most jammiest goal you think you've ever seen. Like, Unai Emery's going mental on the touchline. But yeah, it's
but if any team can come back, it's Liverpool. It's also Liverpool. So I don't know. Let's wait and see what happens.
Crazy game, but yeah, you know, you got to have hope. I think you're saying start of the season. I think pretty much, you know, when we asked our predictions, what we wanted was us to progress, to improve. City were pretty obviously the favourites. They just did the treble. You know, they're the best team in the world. And what we kind of said, well, let's take it to the last day of the season. You know, let's not make it a procession for them. Let's, you know, be challenging again. Not to say it's just going to be us. We didn't know Liverpool were going to be there or thereabouts, but they were for a bit. But we kind of all said, let's just make sure that we can, you know, take it a game, even if it was an extra game longer, you know, 37, 36 games, but we've taken it right to the end, and you've got to take that as progress. Every season of the last 4 seasons, our points have increased. We've gone that step further, a little bit more improvement. So again, that's credit to Arteta, his coaching staff, the players, and everything else. You know, so yeah, Sunday needs to be, if it can, you know, Daniel's a cheerleader and everything. He's going to be the main man there, but you know, it's got to be like a celebration and appreciation of what these players have done, not just to this season, but over the last couple of years, in terms of where they've got us to. Because again, we were written off at the start of the season, weren't we, Dan? You know, Carragher, Neville, all of them said that we weren't even going to finish. Some of them said we weren't even going to finish 5th this season. We weren't going to challenge again. They said, oh, what was it when we missed out on the Champions League a couple of seasons ago? Oh, that's it. We've blown it. We're not going to get that again because everyone else will get stronger and whatever. We got into the Champions League and then we finished second last season, and then again we were told, oh, that's it, Arsenal have blown it. We're not going to be challenging again. You know, everyone's going to get stronger. And look, here we are. You know, and I'm sure next season, whatever happens, they're going to be saying, oh well, I think Arsenal might get 4th this season, or they might get into.
Yeah.
It's just the narrative. It'd be interesting to see what they say, but who cares? But so yeah, you're hoping behind the hope, Dan, that we can do something magical can happen. Whether that's from West Ham, David Moyes in his last game. I know. Apparently, Declan Rice offered Tom Kearney a 100 grand watch. I wonder what he's going to offer his old West Ham mates. They're going to be offering.
Is that even allowed?
Sure, they're going to be asking. Well, it's to win a game, isn't it? It's not to chuck a game; it's to win it. So he I wonder what his West Ham mates are going to be asking for.
I'm sure Kearney can afford his own 100 grand watch.
Yeah, I'm sure Antonio will be. I'm sure him and Declan Rice are swapping texts about the game. So it'd be interesting to see how they come out, because West Ham have got form. We said in the last show that West Ham have got form last day of the season. When they've had to spoil and when they've had to win, they've done it. So let's see what happens. Yeah, fingers crossed. It could be something magical. If we do it, I might have to do a live show. And just get all the champagne popping. The kids will be running around in the background. I don't care if we do it. They're going to be here, going crazy and everything. Yeah, I know you'll be at the ground as well. So I think Neil said if we do it, he'll drop into it as well if I send him the link.
Yeah.
It's all going off. So fingers crossed, and you can as well. But yeah, great chat. Thanks very much for your time, guys. Just before we go, we'll mention the news today that Vivianne Miedemar has said that she will be leaving the club, which is a real shame. She's been there 7 years, been an absolute legend. She's won 2 Golden Boots, 3 League Cups, a WSL title. In total, she's had 172 appearances, 125 goals, 50 assists. Lauren, absolutely, devastating news. She's, an absolute goal machine, a legend. She'll be really, really badly missed. I know it's been a bit of an up and down last couple of years with the big injury she got. But what's your thoughts on that before we close?
Yeah, I'm devastated, to be honest. It hasn't really sunk in yet. There was obviously a lot of talk about it. She's out of contract this summer. I think everyone was expecting an offer to be made. We're talking about the first player in the WSL to ever hit 100 goal involvements, scoring, assists, everything. She's such a valuable player. Yeah. And I think to hear that she wasn't even offered a contract, that Arsenal were happy to let her go on a free, is really disappointing from the club's perspective.
That's crazy. I can only imagine that's because of what we said before we started the show. She hasn't been her old self since she come back from that injury. So maybe behind the scenes they've seen that maybe she's not, because they obviously have the data analysis and everything as well. But do you think it could be that they've seen that as well?
Yeah, I think there's a mixture. I don't think she seems too happy at the moment there. She's obviously not getting much game time. When she is, it's seconds at the end of the game. And I mean, we're talking about one of the best players ever. I think she's the Dutch highest scorer of all time, even ahead of Van Persie and everything. Like, the quality that she has is just insane. And of course she had a nasty injury and she just doesn't look comfortable since coming back. So, I'm sure it was discussed by both parties, but for Arsenal not even to publicly say we didn't want to, or, we weren't prepared to give her another contract, I think it's really poor from the club, and I'm disappointed that it's ended this way. But she had a beautiful goodbye video. Hopefully we get to see her on the last game of the day as well, last game of the season as well, which I believe is also this weekend. Can't remember who it's against, but
Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah. So it's gonna be an emotional weekend, whatever happens.
I think it's definitely to do with that, the comeback from that injury, Lauren. I do think maybe next season and onwards, Alessia Russo has got to step up and show that killer instinct she had at Man U.
100%,
and get more goals.
It's against Brighton on Saturday.
Brighton,
the winning close out. Could finish second if results go away, and it's just frustrating that we some of the points we dropped in the last couple of games. It's just so frustrating. could have been right in the mix. It could have been a double.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's been a disappointing season for the women, I think. Obviously, again, it's been a lot of players coming in, players going, and I think we just haven't found our rhythm at all. It's been so start-stoppy. So yeah, hopefully next season's better, and at least we have Champions League football to play for again, because I think that killed us at the start of the season.
Yeah, that was a gut punch, wasn't it? That was a real gut punch to fight to get in there. It's a little bit like us, getting in there, and it would have been like us getting in there and going out of the group stages after all of that.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
but yeah, so wish her well, and
absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be strange seeing her playing for someone else in the WSL if it does work out to be like that. God knows who she's going to go to, but yeah, it's going to be weird, and I think it's going to have repercussions, obviously, because we know that she's got people who are very close to her in the current Arsenal squad, and I think there's definitely some friction between her and Jonas. I think definitely. I think because even before she got the injury, she was being played in a different position to where she used to, because Stina Blackstenius was played more ahead of her, and she was playing in this sort of 10 role, which she didn't seem to like too much. But no, thanks for the years of service, 7 years, 125 goals, unbelievable stuff. And so end of an era, and we come to the end of this show. So the 73rd show of Arsenal Above All. If you flip it around, 37 games for Arsenal this season in the league. One more to go. It could be something really special and magical. And we've not been in this situation before. For young whippersnappers like yourselves, he's not been in this, but yeah, amazing to be in the conversation again, and to, like I said, just to have that trophy there, whether it's a replica or not, and to have all the stuff. The players would I'm sure that the commercial, the media side, or whatever, they will be talking to them, telling them, if you win it, this is what's going to happen. This is the protocol. This is what's going to happen. So just to have that conversation and to see that trophy there, it gets into their heads. We're that close to it. So whether we do it or not, we're that close to it, and that hunger will hopefully breed more, make him even hungry for next season. To go into it, and for everyone else watching as well. So fingers crossed. Lauren, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really great chat, as always. Great stuff from you. Daniel, great stuff from you as also, man. Thanks very much for your contributions this season, and obviously the vlogs and everything as well.
No problem.
Hopefully it will be a very joyous one that you'll produce. If you've got the time, I'm sure you'll be carried along. Carried aloft by some mental Arsenal fans. If we do it, you'll be crowd surfing and everything. Whilst you're doing the vlog, that'd be cool. Thanks for all your support as well for both of you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the support, everybody watching, and the numbers have been really, really special as well. To correlate with this season as well. So fingers crossed. One more hurdle to go. Let's do it. And come on, you ready? Come on.
Man, remember, Giroud into the box, and they have immediately.